y'all? It's Ari.
What's up, y'all? It's Kurt.
Welcome to ICTV,
where we keep the TV icy. Well, this month, and actually this year, we're going to be doing something a little bit different with the channel. As we have talked about in previous videos, the things that are most important when we want to communicate with you, our icy fam: 1, relationship advice; 2, general inspiration; and 3, travel, as we kind of take some cool trips around the world, right?
Yes.
But in this first month of the year, what we want to talk about is general planning. Like, how do you really plan and really set your relationship up for success? What does it mean to really plan and prepare for the future so that you know exactly what you're working toward, you know what goals you need to hit, you know what marks you need to set?
So a scripture that we would like to relate this topic to is Proverbs 29:18 that says, without vision, the people perish. So it is important to have a plan. It's important to
100%.
Set out goals. It's important to speak with your spouse and say, I think we should do X, Y, and Z for the month, for the year. Like, we need a plan. We need a vision. Like, where we're going, where are we headed? So,
because without no vision,
the people perish, right? So, we have 3 reasons. Number 1 being to set goals. So it's important to set goals because, like the scripture said, without vision, people perish. So we have to set goals. We have to put out on paper what we are working towards. We have to write it down, make it plain. Another scripture that I really like to write it down, make it plain. So talk to your spouse. And, you know, what are those thoughts? What are those dreams, your desires that you have, that you are wanting to work towards, that's always been in your mind, right? Like, I have so many things in my mind that I want to do, but, you know, that's day by day, day in, day out, and we go to work, we come back home, and we get stuck in the routine of life. We don't put time towards what we really want to do. But when you put them down and you write them down and you share them and you speak on them and you put work towards them, things begin to manifest. So setting goals and having a plan to work towards them is very important.
I think the second reason why it's really good to plan together is once you have set those goals, right? Once they've left your mind and you have them on paper and you've actually set goals, now as a husband, and I can speak from my perspective, I now know what I need to do to support Ariel in achieving her goals and help her, you know, and hold her accountable rather to achieve those goals, right? So the personal, absolutely. So the personal goals that she sets, that I set, we can then kind of support and hold each other accountable. And then 2, sort of the relational goals, right? Are the things that the goals that we have across both of us, or for our home or for our careers. We can then also support each other there and really kind of hold each other's hand through it. Because I think once you have gotten it out of your head and it's on paper, now that we've actually have it on paper, we've set dates to it. We know by what time we need to do this, by what date we need to do this. Again, we can make sure each other, you know, is achieving the goals. Yeah, achieving the goals. And there's so many different pieces to getting it on paper, right? Like, once you have it in the calendar, you can set it to your iPhone. You can set it to a Google Calendar that both of you can share. And again, we'll talk more about that next week when we talk about our actual physical process, which we're still kind of working through. The third reason is it creates a sense of security in your relationships, right? So whether you are intentionally dating or you are in your engagement season or you are married, to be able to sit down and create a 1-year, 2-year, 3-year roadmap for your relationship creates an unbelievable sense of security between you and your partner, knowing that no matter what comes up, we are in this together and we are driving this relationship towards success. And we, as Ariel has touched on, that the word says we have created a sense of vision, and so we won't perish. So this relationship won't perish. So the dreams and the things that God has given us won't perish. Those are the 3 main things that we would encourage every single couple out there to make sure you're doing. Make sure that you are creating goals for your relationship. And they are: 1, it gets out of your head and it gets on paper. So now you have actual goals. 2, once the goals are on paper, we can then support and hold each other accountable. And 3, it creates an unbelievable sense of security because we know the direction that we are driving this relationship in.
Set goals, support, security.
That's
good. I like
that. Set, support, secure.
Yes.
Set, support, secure. That's it, P.
I like that.
That's it.
really good.
Yep.
I had a thought, but it just left me. Set,
Come back
support,
to it.
secure. Oh,
Ooh,
when-
see? You got to, that's the move right
Yeah,
there.
oh my God. It came back too. Well, when you were talking, I was gonna say, it kind of went with what you were saying. When you were saying, you know, we have goals in the relationship when you're working towards goals and you're in something together, moving towards something. When you look back, you're not just like, 3 years and passed by, and what we doing?
Yeah.
We still just hanging out. You know, and I'm not knocking those who like are okay with just being in a relationship, you know, no engagement, no marriage, not, you know, you're not looking forward to those things. There are some people like that, and I'm not knocking that. But if your goal is to be engaged and to be married, and 4 or 5 years in and y'all still just hanging out, you know, it's like, what we doing? What we doing? You know, let's write things down. What do I want to be in 5 years? What do you want to be in 5 years? And let's put it together and see what we come up with. And let's work towards that. And too, it helps get each other on the same path. Because you can be having one thing in mind and the other, your spouse or your partner, could be nowhere on their radar.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, I thought you wanted to be married. How you thought that? We ain't talk about that. But y'all have been together 6 years. What we doing? So it's so important. Babe, don't laugh at me. It's so important to be on the same page, to be on one accord, set plans, support each other, and find security in that.
And I think a piece of that's a really good point that Pete talked about. Like if you find yourself and you haven't had these conversations about goals and where you want your relationship to go, both like, you know, in love and then professional, whatever the avenues are. If somebody's going this way, if your spouse is going this way, your partner's going this way, and you're going this way, that can then impact your relationship and your love, right? So if you haven't had a conversation about the direction that you both want to go, then neither of you really know the best way to support the other person, which can then impact the way that you feel loved and supported, which can then also have detrimental effects on your relationship when all you need to do is just talk about it, right? So now that I know what you want to do, I can support you, and you know what I want to do, and you can support me. I think another really good piece of this is we on 0.5 now, but I think overflow. I think another good piece of this is, what was I about to say? There was something I was gonna say. I swear. I can't believe this.
I think another good piece of this.
Oh, here it is. This is what I was about to say. Also, a lot of times in relationships, and this is just generally, right? Like, there are certain things that I will believe the world, right, that P can do. I believe and I know that you can do this. But if it came to me doing it, I might second guess it. And I know that's the same thing too with Ariel. Sometimes like, girl, you can do this. You can preach all over the world. You can sing. You can speak. You can do all this stuff like that. But when it comes to her, she might like, oh, I don't know that I can do that. Or, you know, you may just start to second guess yourself. But the great thing about that is, again, being in a relationship and having those upfront vocal conversations about what you want to do and what your goals are, you can then play that part for each other, right? Like, I'm your biggest cheerleader. You're my biggest cheerleader. When I feel down like I can't do it, you're there to pick me up and say, yes, you can. When you're feeling down like you can't do it, I'm there to pick you up and say, yes, you can. Like, there's a lot of sort of collaboration that happens and support that just comes just because I know exactly what you want to do. Mm-hmm. I know your goals and I know what you want to achieve. So I'm here like, we're coming up on the end of the first quarter. What's up? Have you done X, Y, Z? Da, 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 da. So it's good, but
yeah, it's a really good thing.
So set, support, secure. Yep.
Well, we hope y'all have been blessed. We love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. If y'all have any questions or comments, please DM us, message us, comment, send us some questions, and we'll answer them.
Yep. And we look forward to sharing in the next video what we are doing and exactly step by step how we have set our plans for this year as a married couple. We have been married 2.5 years. We I feel like we've had conversations about where we want to go before, but we took it to the
this is
absolute next
first
level.
Year we are like,
we took it to the absolute next level
put work
this year.
into it.
And I just feel like this is something we absolutely have to do. When you have goals and you have things that you feel like the Lord has placed in your heart for you to do, you have got to pray and plan. It takes two things, pray and plan. So we look forward to sharing our buckets, the goals that we want to set, that we are setting, the things we want to achieve, and exactly the tools that we are using to remain accountable throughout this year.
Yeah.
Antarctica, not Antarctica.
School, no school.
Yeah. Baby, no baby. Tune in and we'll let you know.
We love y'all. Thanks for watching.
Stay icy.